Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hello, everyone.
and the Lord of Puppies, SDA.
Hi.
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. How are you guys tonight?
Good, but this is really low for me. I got to turn you guys up. There we go.
Too.
You are quite good at turning me on.
You're disgusting.
We already have a super chat that's both a ad request and a question for SDA, so I'll read this. Mr. Baker says, ad for King Solomon's Curse by Andy McDermott. And SDA, I think I am muted on your channel because last night nobody in chat was responding to me and I couldn't send you any super chats.
I'll have to check.
Yeah, you might have to go to your control panel and like
I know how to do it.
Okay, I don't know. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well tonight, wherever you are, whether it's hot or cold. It's freezing as well.
It's
the
80
ninth
fucking degrees here.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of bullshit.
It's the ninth circle of hell over here, so.
The best thing about this is you guys are complaining about completely opposite things, but in the same way.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about ninth circle of hell as in Dante's Inferno, because down at the bottom, it's fucking cold. Just saying. And now my phone's beeping at me. Why? Oh, because work wants me to know that something happened. What happened, work? Is it a disaster, or is it fine?
Don't forget, after this, guys, me and Satsu will be showing you how incompetent we are at killing zombies over on 2 Cents Plus.
Oh, we have one dislike already. Well, that was quick. I wonder what that was about. Well, in that same vein, so to speak, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies, hit that like button. I mean, you can hit the dislike button. I'm not going to stop you. I couldn't if I wanted to. I'm just saying that, you know, if you're here, presumably you kind of appreciate what we do. And also share our stuff. Share our stuff.
I like hate watchers. I think they're funny.
Oh, yes. Remember our good friend Magoon. Oh, Magoon.
For the record, I was the very first person to like this stream today.
Ooh. Well, you get the gold star in your forehead for that one.
I'm just, I want to point out that I'm not just, we don't say that. I'm living it. I'm not a hypocrite. When I tell you to like it, I do it myself.
Yeah, because you're a fan of your own work. That's great, Monkey. I
really am.
Yeah.
And I know we're not supposed to be. Like, you're not supposed to laugh at your own jokes. You're not. No, I fucking love me. I am awesome.
I love me.
I do. I really don't get people like, I know it's conceited. I do. But I am fucking awesome, and I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you, Serenity Lotus. I love you guys, but I enjoy hitting the dislike buttons. Well, you know what? Whatever gets your rocks off. It doesn't bother me at all. It's fine. I've taken worse. I grew up with glasses in 6th grade, so I've had worse insults come my way. Do we have anything to cover before we get into the wonderful world of news?
Nothing that comes to mind at the moment.
SDA?
No.
Okay. So, as the title at least abstractly indicates, we have extended news regarding officers and response time to the Parkland shooting. Phone, stop beeping at me. Oh my God. Okay, so apparently the hospital wants to send me automated texts about an appointment I have until I tell them to stop. That is annoying as hell. Sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to bring in my medical issues to you. But anyway, moving on. From CNN, sources. What the fuck? Stop it. Okay, great. Oh my God.
Scribe, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of putting your phone on silent?
I can't put it on silent because I am on call for work in case something comes up.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's,
you can always like be looking at it. And, like,
yeah, no, that doesn't quite work when I'm trying to do a show. So I have to keep it on and with the volume because I'm a responsible adult most of the time. Anyway, sources, which I'm sure are unnamed, Coral Springs police upset at some Broward deputies for not entering school. Upset sounds like an understatement for the situation.
Mhm.
Let's see. When Coral Springs police officers arrived at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on February 14th in the midst of the school shooting crisis, many officers were surprised to find not only that Broward County Sheriff's Deputy Scott Peterson, the armed school resource officer, had not entered the building, but that 3 other Broward County Sheriff's deputies were also outside the school and had not entered. Coral Springs sources tell CNN. Okay, interesting way to construct a sentence there. The deputies had their pistols drawn and were behind their vehicles, the sources said, and not one of them had gone into the school. With direction from the Broward deputies who were outside, Coral Springs police soon entered the building where the shooter was. New Broward County Sheriff's deputies arrived on the scene, and 2 of those deputies and an officer from Sunrise, Florida, joined the Coral Springs police as they went into the building. Some Coral Springs police were stunned and upset that the 4 original Broward County Sheriff's deputies, who were the first on the scene, did not appear to join them as they entered the school. It's unclear whether the shooter was still in the building when they arrived. What these Coral Springs officers observed, though not their feelings about it, will be released in a report likely next week. Sources caution that tapes are currently being reviewed and official accounts could ultimately differ from recollections of officers on the scene. So that story's more of an enhancement of what was going on yesterday. But real quick, thank you, Terry Diamantis. Whoever donates the most during this stream can pick what the ad is for.
Oh, there you go, guys. There's a challenge.
So Terry's put a bounty on his own ad request. Okay. I'll have to keep track then, I guess. Go ahead, Monkey.
Well, it is really worth noting. I mean, we went from one officer who the sheriff himself was pretty much blasting yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't bring up his other 3 officers not be going in. And the way that they found out that I forget his name, Scott Peterson,
yes,
that's his name, that he hadn't gone in, is that they had videotape of it.
Right.
If the other officers were there with him, I would imagine they'd be on video too.
I guess it depends on where they were positioned around the school and if a camera was covering that. So
yeah, what's amazing to me is that it seems like the authorities were the problem in this case, from like the 39, like being called, on the police 39 times, to all of the, hey, fuck, he's saying all this stuff like he wants to kill children online. And then nobody went into the fucking school to help. I mean, like, what the hell is our law enforcement up to?
Or at least Broward County.
Yeah, apparently there, not much. At least the sheriffs.
And on that same point, another story has come out, or at least maybe this is more of a detailed story. I can't tell quite yet. Another warning to the FBI prior to all this. That the shooter was a threat.
That's bananas. This is nuts. I mean, because people are like, gun control, gun control. I'm like, the real issue here is not the guns. It's the fact that, like, we had all of the warning signs, because people are like, you can't always get the warning signs, right? We had all of them, like all of the warning signs and more, and nobody did anything. The fuck?
FBI tip line caller described Nicholas Cruz as, quote, about to explode, unquote. A woman close to the Parkland, Florida school shooter called an FBI tip line in early January to describe a young man with an arsenal of knives and guns who was, quote, going to explode, and said she feared him, quote, getting into a school and just shooting the place up, unquote.
Dear
quote,
Christ.
I just want you to, get it off. Oh, sorry. I just want to, get it off my chest in case something does happen. And I do believe something's going to happen, the woman said, according to a transcript of the January 5th call reviewed by CNN.
This is genuinely eerie to me. Like all these people who were talking about, like, are the kids who were like, yeah, people were making jokes that, like, if anybody was going to be the school shooter, ha 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 ha, right? And then you have this where, a month ago, literally, right? This year, January?
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I'm scared he's going to shoot up a fucking school. Also, he's had the cops called on him 39 times. This should not have happened.
Thank you, Adam Mangold. Here's some monies going to Black Panther thanks to SDA. Okay.
Have fun. It's a good movie. I think you'll like it. I mean, if you like Marvel and you like having fun, you'll enjoy it.
I see. There's no punctuation there, so I didn't quite understand the flow of that. But thank you, Adam.
You know, this is one of the things I love about you being an English major. I got what he said immediately, but you're like, okay, I got to read this as written.
Mm-hmm. I am a literalist. What can I tell you?
You are.
Let's see if there's anything else on this.
Is there such a thing as an illiterist?
Yes, you.
Fuck you.
You're the one who can read between the lines without punctuation. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm an illiterist, y'all.
Yeah, there's not much more to this. They kind of review the other things about the FBI. Let's see. Oh, wait. The woman also provided the FBI employee. Oh, she talked to an employee directly. Okay. With the usernames for at least 3 of Cruz's Instagram accounts, where he wrote that, quote, he wants to kill people, unquote, and posted photos of animals that he had mutilated. Quote, you know how a bird will fly around in the backyard and then hit your glass door, your sliding glass door, and hit the ground, the woman said. Well, that's what happened. He brought the bird into the house. He threw it on his mother's kitchen counter and started cutting it up. That to me would be a red flag, the woman said. Shit. Yeah. Now,
that's so fucked, dude. Holy shit. I'm sorry. That really messes with my head.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell if this is... So we had the YouTube comment as the one thing, and that was one guy that reported that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't... I'm assuming this is a third instance because I remember they were talking about a different tip that came in that was of a threat, but not as detailed as this. So this might be a third instance where the FBI got information, or second. I can't tell.
Yeah, it seems like at least a number of people were like, hey, spy.
Yeah.
What's up? This guy is bananas. And I mean, 3 Instagram accounts where he's saying that he wants to kill people, where he's clearly showing some kind of animal cruelty, where he's making threats. Like, this is not, well, what do we do? Just a guy being weird. He's literally mutilating and killing animals and making terroristic threats. You can do something about that.
This, what this reminds me of I hesitate to use the word given the connotations otherwise, on a systemic level, this reminds me a lot of all of the 2020 hindsight that was talked about after 9/11, about so many law enforcement agencies not connecting the dots that were all right there if they had just communicated with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what we were supposed to be working to do away with. Thank you, Sweeper Steven. Chatelet, everyone, and I want an ad about SDA bopping chat. Okay, I will find a way. Thank you, Sweeper.
I'm just wondering because, the first night this happened, SDA brought up, if you see something, you should say something. And apparently everybody fucking did.
Right.
What's the point of if you see something, say something, if people are just going to go, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, the
exactly.
literally did nothing.
Because we had the whole debate. You can't just arrest a kid for being weird, blah, blah, blah. And we got all that out of the way, and we got all those disagreements and shit out of the way there. But the real issue here is not that people didn't say something. It's that everybody said things and nobody did anything. And like I said, it's not as though you're just like, hey, he's weird, arrest him for being weird. It's, hey, he's making threats, literal threats. Also, he's killing animals, which is illegal, by the way. Well, I mean, if you're mutilating,
I just want to remind everybody that bat was alive when it left my house.
Yeah, this is like the opposite of the Harvey Weinstein type scandal, where everybody kept quiet for 30 years and then he kept on doing stuff. In this instance, not only did the students suspect that he was off kilter, but all these other people made sure to let the authorities know he was off kilter. And there you go. So like Matt said the other night, and I'll give him, I'll credit where credit's due. This isn't like Sandy Hook. This isn't about some unknown subversive person who was just off in the corner somewhere that broke. This guy was a known problem and was a very expressive threat that nobody paid attention to who should have. And now, and even during the event itself, setting aside all the warning signs, the police still didn't do anything, even when he's shooting up kids.
Yeah, so I mean, I know we're talking about gun control out the ass, but I don't like. It seems that the guns are not the real issue here, not in this case anyway. Yeah. Because the real problem is that everybody knew that this kid was fucked in the head, and everybody was telling the cops. It's not like everybody knew and everybody was like, "Yeah, but sometimes kids are just fucked in the head." Ha ha. Yeah. Everybody told the proper people, hey, this guy is maybe gonna kill some fuckers, and they were like, yeah, well, shit happens.
Let's see. Oh, Weibo says, bet he was a bedwetter too. Okay, the McDonald triad dictates that if you wet your bed, hurt animals, and arson all determine preemptive violent tendencies. Yeah, those are warning signs for psychopaths and serial killers and all types of stuff. So yeah, obviously there was a giant breakdown in law enforcement taking notice, or at least exchanging notes from office to office.
At every level, law enforcement fucked this up. Yeah. This case, you have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. In this case, in my opinion, it has, the guns don't even fucking matter in this case because, the guns weren't the issue. The issue is that everybody knew that this guy was going to snap. Yeah. And when the proper authorities were notified, the authorities fucked up. And they fucked up at the school. They fucked up at every level of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring up a just tangentially related?
Of course.
One of the gun control things I keep seeing, and it's really bothering me, is people saying what we need is better training for people with guns. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily disagree with that idea. But when you're talking about a school shooter, at that point, aren't you talking about making them more effective? Because it's not like anybody goes through gun training and it's like, oh, you're right, I shouldn't kill people.
Right. I don't know. I would have to hear the context of, you mean to buy a gun, you need to have expert training?
Yeah. You should have,
I don't,
just need more training.
Like I said, maybe this is just from living in the South, but I don't know a 10-year-old boy who doesn't know how to shoot a rifle. So, at what level do you decide? I don't know the answer to that. I would have to think about it for a while because you have to be super nuanced if you're going to go there, I guess you have to be really nuanced. And even with figuring out, who do you allow access to guns and, at what level are you going to get really invasive? Because if somebody goes to buy a rifle for hunting or something, are you allowed to have access to all of their mental health records or something? I mean, that's where all of this.
This notion, you got to train them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that, I mean, maybe not in the case of trying to prevent somebody from going nuts with a gun, but when it comes to how to store your gun, how to handle it in the home, how to prevent little kids from getting a hold of it, etc. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to require we require people to take, pass a driving test before they get their driver's license, passing basic gun safety and management class or something before getting your license to carry a gun. Might make sense. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Add about how SDA needs to unmute me so I can engage with the chat and give her money through Super Chat.
You're not muted. So Monday night, we'll see what happens.
Mr. Baker, do you have me on Twitter? I think you do. If so, on Monday night, we'll work something out where we can test it. You send a chat, and we'll communicate off in the distance while people are doing other stuff.
Okay, let's move on to other exciting news. And by exciting news, I mean not really because it's Russia related, sort of, but just for the sake of keeping tabs on the ongoing saga.
Yeah, I saw this.
Trump campaign aide Rick Gates pleads guilty in Mueller investigation. Former Donald Trump campaign official Rick Gates pleaded guilty Friday to 2 criminal charges in special counsel Robert Mueller's wide-ranging investigation. Yeah, wide-ranging. Yeah, that's the problem. investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential campaign and related activities. Gates is now the third Trump associate known to be working with Mueller's investigation, and his plea deal will put the spotlight on former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Yes, for things that happened before the campaign. Just so we remind ourselves that Mueller has discovered wrongdoings that took place and started prior to Trump ever even announcing his candidacy. As part of Gates' agreement, which dismisses a handful of money laundering and other criminal charges, Gates will have to cooperate with the special counsel by turning over all documents relevant to the investigation, speak with investigators as they wish, and possibly testify in other court cases, including Manafort's. Gates may also be asked to go undercover. Thanks for telling us, CNN. Thanks for telling us. Holy shit.
I feel like that's not going to work now. Why would you say that?
I know. Thank you, Snubbirth. It might be a block by Ahmad. Well, even if it was somehow, SDA has full control over her channel as to who is and is not muted or blocked out. So if she can't see Mr. Baker there, then something else is going on. Yeah, thanks for telling us that. I love that.
Let me double check. Maybe I missed something because I have it's like 10 Magoons, honestly, like more than that. It's a fuck ton. So let me double check. And make sure.
I gotta screenshot this and post this just so everybody knows the Gates could be undercover. If you don't already know, CNN's letting us know.
Because somebody awesome. Might have muted you that wasn't me. Because I don't remember. You're not usually a dick, so I don't know. Well, because I'm like, there are people that I've muted that I'm like, yeah, because they're a cunt. But you're not usually a dick, and you throw money at people, so I don't know why I would have. Oh fuck, yeah, you are. Never mind, I found it. Okay, you're fixed. You're fixed.
Oh, there you go. So he was muted.
I didn't do it unless what'd you say? Did you say something? Because I don't remember doing that. I don't think I did it.
Let's see.
Real quick, it does need to be pointed out that the press has gotten really excited about people working with Mueller before, and it hasn't meant shit because it's all related to this. The stuff, the money laundering all happened before the presidential campaign. It has nothing to do with the presidential campaign. So, Gates testifying against is Manafort, right?
Yes.
Doesn't mean shit to this. I saw several liberals like, yeah, it's coming. Like it's really not. This has, so far as we know, nothing to do with the actual campaign.
God, I just tweeted out that screenshot. That
wait, I went to tell you this.
Yeah,
and I didn't get a chance to. I'm gonna add that at Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. All right, good. That's fine. That's amazing. CNN, you're amazing. Actually, I should probably tag Chris Saliza on there. It's like maybe you should have edited that one out. Let's see. That's all the big news stories I had queued up for the night so far. Let's see. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I'm typing them.
Okay. Yeah, when everybody goes quiet, I get paranoid. Let's see. So, nothing for you here is a certified asshole. How do you get a certification in that? Do you have to go to a proctologist? Do you guys have any other stories, or should I move on to the...
No, I'm going to MSS News.
Oh, I do have to read this one. This is really funny real quick. So, KFC in the UK apologized for not having enough chicken.
Yeah.
They put an ad out, a full-page ad, as this thing plays in my ear. They put a full-page ad out that showed a one of their classic buckets with the Colonel's face, and underneath it, it reads FCK. And then underneath that says, "We're sorry." And it's got this paragraph. So just short of saying fuck.
What is FCK? Oh,
it's an allusion to fuck, because we screwed up. It's like, fuck, we're sorry. Yeah, instead of KFC, it's, so fuck, we're sorry.
That's why I was like, what? Sop fucked that up, and who's getting fired for it?
Yeah, that was.
I didn't think they could say, can businesses say fuck?
They can if it's funny.
Sure. Okay, so guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll look at as many as we can. And the very first one I see is one that was just sent out like 40 seconds ago by Weebo Jones.
Weebo!
Which he's retweeting something that Mundane Matt just posted out. So
Weebo, tell your grandma I said hi.
Oh God. I got a lot of likes on that that little meme thing I put together.
That was fucking awesome.
Okay, vibrator orders you a pizza once you're finished.
What?
This comes from What's
Where can I get
Trending.
one?
Well, I will tell you. Oh boy, how to write about this story and remain a gentleman? Oh boy, let me think. You know how after you masturbate with a vibrator and you want to eat a whole pizza? Well, Cam Soda, that lovable pornographic company kind of known for its ridiculous stunts, has done it again by releasing a vibrator that, once you're finished, with the push of a button, can order a Domino's pizza.
Oh, Domino's? Never mind. Fuck that noise.
Humanity's two greatest pleasures, sex and specifically Domino's. The vibrator is called the Rub Grub.
Oh, that's gross.
See, I love this because that's something that that's like something I would come up with for an ad.
Yeah, that makes me want to not put it anywhere near my body.
And thank you, James Colley. Do you like to sing at Scribe? I like to sing it myself all the time.
Does it automatic? Does it know you're done, or do you have to push a button?
No, go on. So the vibrator is called the Rub Grub and works sort of like an Amazon dash button. What?
Rub Grub?
Yeah, you didn't hear me say it the first time? Rub Grub.
No, I had people coming in the house. I'm sorry.
No, Rub Grub. Rub Grub.
That sounds disgusting. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Right? Like, unappetizing, and then also to add insult to injury, Domino's. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, this is their tagline, apparently. Masturbation, while ultimately enjoyable, can be a strenuous physical activity during which an individual exerts a lot of energy and burns many calories.
I feel like you're doing it wrong. It takes a whole lot to...
Inevitably, once someone has climaxed, they feel lethargic and hungry. Now, in order to enjoy your Saturday night, all you need is your Rub Grub device. Get off and get stuffed, all with the quick click of a button. I love this. I love this. I love this. I'm reading it. It's like something that would come from my mind if I
have you ever had Domino's? I can't get over the fact that
I like Domino's. Okay,
it's disgusting.
Well,
it's so greasy and like it just. Ugh.
Oh yeah, and Pizza Hut is just so clean. What?
I don't like Pizza Hut either. I didn't say Pizza Hut was better.
Okay, then what is the proper pizza?
You know, I really don't like a lot of the carry-out places.
Well, then what?
But like Papa John's, I feel like is the least disgusting one.
Oh, because it's right wing?
No, because the pizza's not as greasy and disgusting.
Doesn't this sound like the start of a porno?
Faith's application says stuffed crust. Yeah.
So like, okay, I have a question. I have a really important question.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
So when you order it, right? So like it's a vibrator and you've just like done the jizzles and everything. And you click the button. Does it like tell them? Is it like okay, we have an order coming from a vibrator?
I have no idea. Probably you probably have an account locked into the thing somehow through a website or your.
Because how embarrassing would that be?
Thank you, Corey. Ad for a Rub Grub competitor with SDA's favorite type of pizza. So Papa John's.
It's not my favorite type though. Like
I said it.
No, I didn't say it was my favorite type. That's a lie. I said it was like the least terrible takeout.
Okay, and that's okay. Well, since it's then that's all it is. That's going to be the one. It's got to be Papa John's.
But I just want you to know that it's not my favorite.
Okay.
I want it on record.
Right. It's on record. It's on permanent record with YouTube. Thank you, Corey. I will come up with something. Let's see. What else do we have? This is an Ohio story, not a Florida story, but all the same. This comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Survey says, police say carjacking suspect made woman buy him Wendy's and then drive him to a drug deal.
What?
Loveland, Ohio. An Ohio man was arrested Saturday after police say he abducted an 84-year-old woman and forced her to give him money, buy him fast food, and drive him to a drug deal. Wow, this guy's a prince. 31-year-old Brett Engel is facing charges of felony aggravated robbery and abduction, according to the Cincinnati Enquirer. Police say Engel jumped into They misspelled, and I thought it was the word three. They spelled it Thee when they meant the. Good job. Good job, News. Into the woman's car in a pharmacy parking lot with a box cutter on February 15th. Engel then ordered her to drive to a bank and withdraw $200, which he took, according to court records. Then he's accused of forcing the woman to take him to Wendy's and buy him food. He also used his victim's cell phone several times to make calls. Court documents say he ordered her to drive him to a gas station and then a White Castle. While at White Castle, police say the woman saw him as he appeared to buy something from two other men. Then he got back in the car and injected himself with some kind of drug and then made her drive to two different apartment complexes and a gas station. The victim told police the man wiped down places in the car he touched with a napkin and told her he knew where she lived because he saw her driver's license. He told her not to call police. According to
my question here is, when they went to Wendy's, did the purchase come from that $200, or did he like make her buy it on top of that?
I don't know. Doesn't say. Thank you, Robert Chalk, SDA's favorite pepperoni and pluge pizza with yeast roll breadsticks.
I'm not comfortable being associated with that.
I don't know what that means. Pluge? Maybe I'm missing something. Thank you, Snubberth. Ad for Jizzles, and include how much SDA loves Pizza Hut. Okay.
Can I not be the subject of these ads?
Well, now that you've said that, you will be.
Well, I don't like that.
Well, that's the rule of teasing. If you don't want it to happen, it's going to happen. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Thank you.
Put me in ads I don't want to be in.
Thank you, Hocatus Maximus. Here, have some caps for the upcoming apocalypse. I'm going to put a cap in your ass. Is that it? SD's favorite pepperoni and pluge. Is that supposed to be an ad request? I'm going to assume it is, Robert Chuck. I can't tell for sure. I don't even know, but I need to know what pluge is, unless it's slang for something, and I'm just out of touch with the kids today. Okay, got that one down. And moving on. What else do we got after kidnapping grandma? Which is
I got food, so I'm here, but I might be quiet.
Yeah, Monkey would kidnap grandma to get Wendy's.
Maybe it was Bebo's grandma.
Thank you, Snubberth. Ad to make SDA the focus of these ads.
I'm not kidding. I really stop it. I don't want to be the focus of all the ads.
All right. Let's see. What's this one? This one also comes from Colleen Bernier. Oh, doctor who denied sex abuse by saying his belly was too big loses his medical license. Well, that's probably good. Ontario's medical regulator has revoked the license of a Barrie, I guess that's a town name, dermatologist who argued there was no way he could have rubbed his penis against his female patients because of his large belly. The majority of the panel at the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario's Discipline Committee found in a decision released Tuesday that the penalty of revocation was mandatory, given that Dr. Rodion, like from Star Wars. Okay, Rodion Kunyets had been found guilty by the panel last year of sexual abuse by groping one patient's breasts. The panel had been unable to conclude, after expert examinations, whether Kunyets's penis had actually made contact with the patient's. How would you determine that?
His defense is that his dick is too small?
No, that his belly's too big for him to have actually made contact.
Same thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Point Curation. Ad for a nice couch. Wow. Simplistic. I like it. Thank you, Point Curation.
How nice of a couch.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunately going to be where my mind goes. New from IKEA, the Sucket. Okay. Yeah, so his belly was too big. He lost his license. I just like the fact that his name is Rhodian. He's Greedo. He's like Greedo species. What's this? Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, this got to be true. Okay, this comes from Terry Diamantis. Students in Louisiana thought this math symbol looked like a gun, and so the police were called.
I saw this shit.
Then you already know. SDA, do you know what math symbol looks like a gun? Okay.
I mean, like, what level is it? Because I can think of several that might, I guess, if you're a fucking idiot.
What's the dumbest one, you think?
I guess the dividing thing? Like the long division?
Well, it's a square root symbol.
Okay.
Thank you.
Basically the same shape, so.
Thank you, Magnificent Bastard. PSA for a retirement home warning them about monkey chatting up grandmothers. Oh, Jesus.
Grandmas like me, yo.
Yeah, they do. Okay. 1 second. Let me get that on the list. Thank you, Magnificent Bastard. Okay. And then, thank you, Ace Phoenix. Ad for the impending lawsuit against Chat for putting SDA in ads she doesn't want to be in. Okay.
I like points follow up here.
All right, 1 second. But I always have like a little a notepad window open so I can take down the requests. Okay, and thank you, Point Curation. Also a Craigslist type ad for a less nice couch. Okay.
I feel like you should bring out the divorced couple again.
Yeah, what, Al Johnson or whatever? Yeah, okay, I'll think about that one. Thank you, Point. Let's see, where did we go? Okay, so a discussion among students at Oberlin High School in Oberlin, Louisiana, about a mathematical symbol led to a police investigation and a search of one of the students' homes. What? On the afternoon of February 20th, detectives investigated a report of terroristic threats at the school, where they learned that a student had been completing a math problem that required drawing the square root sign. Students in the group began commenting that the symbol, which represents a number that when multiplied by itself equals another number, looked like a gun. After several students made comments along those lines, another student said something the sheriff's office said could have sounded like a threat out of context. Wow. Convoluted as hell. Thank you, Sweeper Steven. This is for me or the bounty. Sorry, Weibo. Ad about monkey hooking up with Weibo's grandma.
Yes. Sweeper, I love you.
Well, so far, Sweeper, you've got the bounty ad, unless someone else does otherwise. But I will still do the ad regardless, because you still paid for it. So, let's see. Get that down. Sorry for all the pauses, guys, but I got to make sure I get everybody's requests on the list, or else everything falls apart. Okay, so then what happened? Police searched the student's home after that convoluted train of logic, where they found no guns or any evidence that he had any access to guns. Surprise, surprise. Authorities also wrote there was no evidence the student had any intent to commit harm, but you tossed his house anyway. Quote, the student used extremely poor judgment in making the comment.
Oh, fuck off.
Wait, you mean the comment that was something the student said the sheriff's office said could have sounded like a threat out of context?
That's
right.
Like, fuck off. Quit blaming the student. What do you do? Like, make a stupid joke and then you're an idiot? Like, come on. Fuck off.
They won't even tell us. Okay. They won't even tell us what it was that was said. So good job, guys. I mean, at least you were more cautious than the Broward County people. Thank you, James Colley.
Nope. Go
ahead. Good to know. Add idea. Sing wacko song using sex toy items. Backup ad ideas. Flesh out ranting monkey and tailed features characters from your trailer. If neither works, you can DM on Twitter for another idea. Wacko song. Are you talking about the Nation song? Because that'd take like 5 minutes. So I'll do the backup idea. I'll flesh out the the movie characters from the trailer. Okay, thank you, James. Let me get that down. Go ahead, Monkey.
Just to say, compare this to what happened in Florida. It's just fucking amazing.
There's like zero caution, and then there's over caution. There's rational actions and there's irrational actions.
How did not a single adult look at that and go, that's not a gun?
Yeah. Well, maybe the cops don't know math. I don't know.
Could be.
Okay, what else do we have? We'll do a couple more here before we move on. I didn't hear about this, but probably overtaken by all the other school stuff. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. White House locked down after vehicle hits security barrier. The White House went on lockdown Friday after a vehicle struck a security barrier near the iconic building, the Secret Service said. The female driver of the white Chevrolet van with Tennessee plates was immediately apprehended. Law enforcement officials told NBC News that the woman had mental problems and was known to the Secret Service because she's been around the White House before. Okay. Quote, no law enforcement personnel were injured during the incident, the Secret Service said, and no shots were fired. Well, good.
Is she Asian?
It does not identify the lady. So
okay. I'm just wondering.
I can't possibly imagine why you'd say that. Racist. Let's see. We talked about. Oh, and Massive Dynamics also sent us the one about the pizza ordering vibrator. Oh no. Okay, so I don't have the story queued up, but I posted something about how Snapchat lost $1.3 billion in value after Kylie Jenner said she didn't use it anymore.
Yes. Which
is hilarious, but the Hate Camel sends us this one, which is related, at least insofar as Snapchat. Snapchat dysmorphia points to a troubling new trend in plastic surgery. I don't even know where this is going. Snapchat and Instagram filters smooth out our skin, give us fuller lips, and even make our eyes look bigger, all of which fall in line with Western society's current beauty standards. As anyone who scrolls through their social media feed knows, filters, whether animal-faced, fairy-like, or just altered in contrast, are the norm. There has been much discussion, has there been? Okay, about how these apps and filters may be bad for our self-esteem. I just want to point out that the operative term in self-esteem is self, and whether they can lead to issues like body dysmorphic disorder, a body image disorder characterized by persistent and intrusive preoccupations with an imagined or slight defect in one's appearance, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. That has to be the worst place to work. Now patients are even bringing filtered selfies to their plastic surgeons to illustrate what they're looking to achieve, according to Dr. Matthew Schulman, a board-certified plastic surgeon in New York. One doctor has referred to this phenomenon as Snapchat dysphoria. Well, crazy people are crazy. It goes on for much longer on that.
I don't know that that's necessarily crazy. I mean, if that's the point of going to a plastic surgeon, is to look better.
Based on Snapchat's decision of what looks better?
Well, no, but Snapchat's decision of what looks better, no, you'd be looking at the thing and you'd be going, well, that looks better. That's not like Snapchat telling you what looks better. That would be your own personal opinion.
Well, yes, and that would be crazy.
I'm sticking with crazy.
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not against plastic surgery in the slightest.
No, and I'm not against plastic surgery, but if you're going to go by the metric of a Snapchat filter as to what makes you feel better about yourself to go under the knife.
Like the metric of a Snapchat filter. That's like...
That's what they said, Snapchat dysphoria. Well,
I get what they're calling it, but like, I'm taking like the less terrified of everything to do with plastic surgery approach, which I don't know. I don't see much of an issue with going, that looks better, I'm gonna go get plastic surgery.
Thank you, James Colley. What is the Weibo bounty? The Weibo bounty? I don't even know what the Weibo bounty is. Terry Diamantis put up a sort of open-ended thing where whomever was the largest donator tonight, I guess in total, could have his ad space. So far, Sweeper Stevens got it. I guess. So I guess it's one on top of whatever you fully donate, I guess. But seriously, guys, don't do a race for an ad request. Sometimes I feel a little shaky about how much you guys send me on this stuff. For like, $10 is fine. It's fine. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll just call it there because we covered a lot of stuff here. Oh, wait a second. I got to do this one just on a personal note. This one comes from Signal Boost. If this is true, I love science or medicine stories that sound like good news. New eye drops could repair corneas and make glasses unnecessary.
Wow.
A team of Israeli scientists have developed a kind of eye drop that can heal damaged corneas and fix a patient's nearsightedness or long-sightedness. The patented nano drops, this sounds like sci-fi horror movie waiting to happen, as they are called by the ophthalmologists at Bar Ilan University, were successfully used to improve the vision of pigs. If shown to have the same results during clinical testing on humans later this year, the treatment could waive the need for eyeglasses. That's crazy. Additionally, the research team found that the nanodrops could be developed to create multifocal vision correction so they could see at various distances similar to the effects of wearing bifocal eyeglasses. Whoa. According to the Jerusalem Post, the researchers are unsure of how long patients would need to apply the eye drops before their vision was repaired, but if proven to be successful, the treatment could be a revolutionary method of improving eyesight for the future. No shit. That's great.
That's awesome, except for now you got nanobots in your eye.
Well, that's the thing. It's like nano drops, like you're actually putting like, is it stem cell stuff? I want to know more, but that's...
Well, it's not just that. It's, how Jews control everything. This is just a way to put cameras in your eyes so they can see what you're up to.
Data Wasteland makes a good question. What letters are used in a pig eye chart? Oink, oink, and oink, I imagine. Or snuffle. Oh, truffle. Maybe they put like a big thing of truffles up there, and if they can see it and recognize it, they tell that they can tell it.
Shuffle.
The truffle shuffle. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for the stories. Sorry I can't get to them all, but we will, we'll binge some soon. On to YouTube time. SDA, what are you up to?
Sorry, I haven't done anything with YouTube today. I got really busy just with some personal stuff, so
okay.
Just time.
I'll go next because I know that Monkey's got stuff to talk about. Thank you, James Colley. Ad idea: Sally Struthers style ad for Monkey's nonprofit O-Face for Granny. Oh my God, like Sally Struthers. Remember that one where she was like advertising, like, you can learn gun repair at the Correspondence College or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. I think it was Sally Struthers. Might have been somebody like that. Thank you, James. So I'm still working on the next installment of Curriculum of Fear. I have the script all written. I have the video chopped up, ready to start editing and assembling things. I just have to record the audio, and I'll do that. I'll start on that tomorrow when I get some free time. So I should have that out hopefully tomorrow, but at worst Sunday. And then we'll go from there. It's going to be, I figure it's going to be about 20 some odd minutes long, because I usually take whatever the length of the original video I've got left over. I didn't use the whole thing, and then double that, and that's usually around where it's going to be. So it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like maybe low 20s. So another long one, so to speak, for all my fans out there. Monkey, what have you been up to?
I made a video. I finally, actually, I did all of the recording and everything 2 days ago, but finally put it all together and uploaded it today. It is a follow-up on our California Assemblywoman we talked about a week or so ago, who was accused of grabbing random staffers' dicks. And turns out there's more to this lady than I knew about, because she's actually pretty big into the hashtag Me Too movement, to the point where she was mentioned. She's not in the main Time article of the Person of the Year, the whistleblowers. But she was brought up in that issue. And she had a colleague who was very much accused of exactly what she is, to the point of she's accused of not only groping these people, but of firing somebody for speaking out against her being kind of sexual. And this other guy was accused of pretty much exactly the same thing. He fired somebody who had apparently whistleblown on stuff he had said, or actually it was how he treated women. And he had apparently been sexual with women. And this cunt called for him to immediately step down. But now that it's her, she doesn't think that's the right thing to do anymore. She thinks she should let the process play out. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? But yeah, that's what I did today.
Yeah, what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander, kind of thing.
Oh no, of course not.
Well, is that really surprising though? Political hypocrisy.
It's not just political hypocrisy. This is any kind of witch hunt. I mean, how many times have you seen a witch hunt turn around and bite the person or some of the people involved on the ass?
I would love.
It's always, no, not me.
I would love to see a reporter bring that up with her in an interview. Like, why is this? Why shouldn't this happen to you as you said it? That'd be great.
Well, there's another part of this article that just really blew my fucking mind, because there's a one of the charges against her is that she was talking about having sex in the Capitol buildings there, whatever they're called in California. And she says, I never did that. And another charge along that same lines is that she said having sex is a great way of getting information. She goes, I've never had sex for information or for votes. Like, whoa. Nobody said shit about you having sex for votes. Literally, nobody made that charge, but she brought that up, which makes me think she's sucking dick for votes, guys.
Wait a sec. Having sex is a great way to get information. Did she work for the KGB or something?
I know. That's what that was my first thought. Like, I think I read this article in Playboy back in the 80s.
Yeah. But prior to my career as a politician, I was once a honey trap for a KGB.
I was a Red Sparrow.
Oh God, yeah. When I saw that, I thought, they couldn't get the rights to Black Widow, so they just made that up. Even though there's now going to be a Black Widow movie in a couple of years, but whatever. Let's see. Any YouTube? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I can't wait to see Scarlett Johansson have her legs around everybody's head for 90 minutes.
All right. Am I roboting or are you guys roboting?
Probably me.
Okay, just making sure, because when I hear it, I can't tell. Do we have any YouTube drama today? We have any fallouts or explosions or anything?
Not that I saw, but I wasn't really paying attention.
I kind of was, but nothing's occurring to me at the moment. I know I saw the post for a Kumite or something, but I don't know who was involved with it or who it was about or anything else. So I don't think so. Otherwise, yeah. Okay, so in lieu of anything else, do we have a deep topic?
Didn't you bring up one earlier?
Well, I posted one to MSS News. It's kind of a backup, but I'll go find it real quick, because it caught my attention because it was a Vice article, but they used a picture of Blair White in the headline. Or as part of the advertisement of it. So let me. Oh wait, I'm going way too far back in time. Let me go find that again. Try that again. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so let me pull this up here. So this comes from Vice Canada, I suppose. What's wrong with the no trans dating preference debate? Everyone is entitled to their sexual preferences, but we should be able to talk about how societal values affect them.
What?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Let's see. This is written by Abigail Curlew. So this is written kind of like a blog, so it's a bit more informal. Okay, let's talk about no trans dating preferences, a recent fixation in sexual politics that often ends up in transphobic and abusive conversations. Okay. Take, for example, a recent video by LGBTQ commentators Ariel Scarcella Carcella, and Blair White, which argued that lesbians are not transphobic if they are only attracted to cisgender women. That's a reasonable argument. Okay. Trans feminists and YouTube personalities such as Riley J. Dennis and ContraPoints have been arguing for some time that a lack of sexual attraction to trans folks is, to some degree, shaped by societal prejudices and stereotypes.
No, it's not. It's shaped by what genitals you're attracted to.
Or the notion that you might be able to have a family with someone else. Something.
Look, I don't care how pretty a man is. I don't want to see his dick.
As a PhD,
except a Weibo.
Yes. As a PhD student in sociology and a trans feminist, this is the author talking, by the way, I am concerned about how the debate has misrepresented trans critics and led to attacks on trans feminists and activists. I am already confused. The attraction debate has been popping up on and off for the last few years, but seems to have been kicked off by a video posted by Riley Dennis called "Your Dating Preferences Are Discriminatory," which explored how social inequalities and oppression shape our attractiveness to marginalized peoples. Did a video by Riley Dennis actually affect society in that broad a scope?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so either, but Dennis concludes in her video, quote, "Because these dating preferences are ultimately harmful to people who don't fit into your box, of what a conventionally attractive person looks like, it makes people feel isolated, alone, and unwanted to hear that they are universally unattractive to people." Dennis. So Riley Dennis is saying that if you don't date a trans person, it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel unattractive.
It's not my job to make everybody feel attractive.
Dennis urges her viewers to critically reflect on the stereotypes that shaped their preconceived attractions to others. Preconceived.
It's fucking biology, you idiot.
But Scarcella, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Scarcella or Scarcella, I don't know. Scarcella and White twisted the terms of this argument to read as an assault on the rights of lesbians and cis women, an attack on the lesbian community by SJW authoritarians. This isn't entirely surprising, as Blair White's YouTube channel routinely resorts to offensive conservative arguments that belittle and misrepresent the feminist community. Misrepresent the feminist community. I'm dying to know what the definition of the feminist community really is, that it can be misrepresented, because I've heard every possible definition of what that means.
Hey, can we stop for a moment and just remind everybody that the reason Riley made that video is because lesbians won't have sex with him?
Yeah. Doesn't Riley have a girlfriend or something?
Yes, but they're polyamorous, don't they?
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
And Riley wants to fuck more women, because he's a lesbian.
Right.
And since they won't take his dick, they are transphobic.
Scarcella claims, quote, "being gay is transphobic," unquote. Okay. But their hot take has a selective hearing problem. It cherry picks controversial lines from trans feminists and ignores the important context that frames the entire argument. Okay, sexual attraction isn't an argument. It's an instinct. It's just part of who you are. There's plenty of theories as to how sexual attraction or personal preferences or fetishes or whatever else get ingrained to your mind. Is it nurture versus nature? Do you get some sort of like, sort of not traumatic event, but sort of significant event in your childhood that sort of sets off the encoding in your brain for what you find sexually stimulating, etc. There's a lot of theories. There's some good ones. There's some crazy ones. Society doesn't tell me what to find attractive. Okay,
no,
like
Scribe.
What?
They made that. Society made you like women.
Oh, okay. Well, but here's the thing. Society wants to tell me that there are some movie stars and supermodels that I am to find attractive. And somehow I don't. I don't know why that is. Society must be failing me, I suppose. Thank you, James Colley. Until Riley cuts his dick off, he is not a she. Well, I'm just reading the article as written. You know, I don't particularly care one way or the other. But yeah.
The only reason I bring up the whole Riley's actually a dude is because he claims to be a lesbian, and that's funny to me.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was a joke in the 80s, guys. It really was.
Let's see. This video struck a nerve in far-right circles, which led to a harassment campaign against Riley, carried out by an angry cyber mob of thousands of users systematically downvoting her videos and sending her hurtful content, comments, and venomous response videos.
Time out. Systematically?
The word is systematically. Systematically downvoting her videos and sending venomous response videos and comments.
What? Okay. Well, all right.
You're part of the system, Monkey.
I see that.
You're part of the system because you were one of those venomous video responders, weren't you?
I didn't make a response to that video.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Let's see. For instance,
I might now.
Yeah. For instance, her video mentioned above has 2,000 likes and 50,000 dislikes.
Because it's a dumbass video.
Followed by an endless stream of abusive comments, many of them misgendering Riley. Oh, Lord. Many of the critiques of Riley's arguments allege that her video accused cisgender folks of having sexual identities that were transphobic. That's exactly what that video said. If your sexual identity is, I prefer to be or I am attracted to people who are of the sex that they actually are, then that was being transphobic or somehow detrimental to people who are trans. Thank you, Hawkinus Maximus. The term far right has been killed from overwork. Well, it's far less defined now than it might have been a couple of years ago.
Real quick, well, what is the source of this article we're reading?
This is Vice Canada.
Okay.
Such an argument would understandably irritate a lot of people. Okay. Critics argued that Riley was attempting to coerce straight men and lesbian women into having sexual attractions to trans women. Yes. Of course, this is not what Riley was arguing. Yes, it was.
Fuck, it's exactly what he was arguing.
That's exactly what it was. This debate has riled trans exclusionary radical feminists, TERFs, which has heightened the already intense transphobic harassment practiced over online spaces like YouTube and Twitter. TERFs, for those of you who don't know, are radical feminists who accuse trans women of being men in dresses trying to infiltrate women's spaces for God knows what reasons. Many of these TERFs already go out of their way to harass, intimidate, and dehumanize trans women, especially those women in publicly facing positions. As any woman and feminist killjoy will likely tell you, gendered online abuse and harassment is not only highly prevalent and commonplace, but very damaging and traumatizing. Question, are TERFs not feminists? Because they would be part of the feminist community that you said earlier was, being misrepresented by Blair White.
Now, most TERFs that I've run into are complete cunts, and that's just true.
Okay.
But I kind of understand their arguments. When a trans person starts talking, a trans, what would that be, trans female, starts talking about like the pink tax, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You literally could just go buy men's stuff because you were born a dude. Right? These are issues that, or like we had Baring's done a couple of videos now. There's is it a rugby player down in Australia? It's a dude. It's a fucking dude. He's like 6 foot tall and built like hell, and they're gonna let him play with female rugby players. No, he shouldn't be allowed to do that. Somebody's gonna get killed doing this shit. So I get that most TERFs are fucking loons and they go a bit far, but I kind of see, there's women, and then there's I'm wearing a dress, and whether that you're wearing that dress because you do have dysphoria and it makes you feel better, or whether you're wearing it just because you like how it feels on your body, you're still not a fucking woman. You're just not. You never will be.
Thank you, Crazy Opinion. Does anyone know that Riley made a video saying he hates everybody that disagrees with him? Why should we care about his feelings? No ad. Well, thank you, Crazy. I don't follow Riley that closely to know. I wouldn't be surprised if he did make a video saying something to that effect, that, you know, disagreeing with me or arguing with me is offensive or hurtful or whatever else. I don't know. I suppose being told that because I'm heterosexual, I'm therefore a transphobe is kind of insulting to me, but I don't take it internally because I know it's bullshit, you know, so. Anything else on this?
Bastard and Peter both pointed out it's the AFL. Australian Football League, I'm guessing?
Right. Let's see. I'm going to jump down a little bit. Many trans feminists, including myself, says the author, just for clarification, would argue that this sense of disgust isn't a given in our predetermined sexual identities. It is a flexible frame of mind that can be changed through critical self-reflection. Yeah, I'll just think myself into being attracted to a type of person that I'm not attracted to.
All right.
There are plenty of people, including heterosexual men and lesbian women, who might find themselves surprisingly attracted to a trans woman. That is very different than saying that if you're not attracted to trans women, you are transphobic. But that's what Riley was saying.
Exactly.
The author then puts into italics, let me repeat, I am not saying that it is imperative to be attracted to trans women. No, but you're saying that to not even entertain the notion of changing your sense of attractiveness is a statement of your inability to allow for trans people to be attractive to you, which is, of course, a sin.
Okay, they're pointing out to me that Aussie football is different than rugby. Calm down, y'all. Damn, Aussies get mad. It's still horrifically violent, correct? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I like violence in sports.
All right, I'm gonna finish up with this next paragraph or so. I am arguing, this is the author again. I am arguing that your attraction is shaped by preconceived notions and stereotypes of transgender folks. So no, I am not shaming you because of your sexual orientation. I am merely asking you to critically reflect on the factors that might shape your attractions.
Biology?
Okay, so you're not shaming us, but you're saying that we're wrong not to work to try to find trans people attractive if we don't.
Look, I have seen Blair. Blair is very pretty.
Yes.
But I am not attracted to Blair because Blair has a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And my attraction is based on the fact that I really, really, really like vagina.
Yeah.
I would fuck a fat, ugly bitch before I'd fuck a pretty dude. Let me put it that way.
Thank you, Nope Nope. It is sad that I understand this conversation. Well, I mean, I understand it. I don't obviously agree with it. You know, for me, I guess if I had to like really strip it down to the bare bones, A, I'm attracted to females, and B, I also have, at least in some portion, kind of that biological clock of at some point in the future, I may want to have children with someone. And, you know, it's a bit sappy and old fashioned, I suppose, but as a connection and expression of commitment and love and everything else to have a child. I don't imagine that I actually will have children, but I still have that instinct. And that instinct, coupled with my being attracted to femininity and females, makes a male who looks like a female pretty much precluded from my attractiveness or being attracted to. It's not suddenly like, because I'm not attracted to you sexually, I hate you. Because if that were the case, I'd hate Monkey. You know, it just doesn't operate like that. Thank you, Peter Hades. Ad for Riley brand Y fronts and jock straps. Y fronts. Is that like a Tidy Whities?
Can you imagine if I made a video suggesting that gay people just needed to kind of rethink what made them attracted to the same sex? That the problem is that they were just kind of conditioned that way rather than it being something that they are instinctively drawn to. Do you think this bitch would be writing an article about how we should probably just think about that?
I don't know.
No, because we already know this, because if you go back just the election, everybody lost their shit because Mike Pence once made a comment about the camps or something to retrain gays. He wasn't supporting them. Pull a Pence, yes. Thank you, Scrappy. If you were to make that claim, everybody would lose their goddamn mind. It would be the most homophobic thing ever. But if you suggest that a dude who doesn't like dicks is transphobic, that's just common sense.
Yeah. What the author is essentially suggesting is behavioral cognitive therapy to change your sexual preferences. Okay. Yeah, like Monkey said, take away the specifics, take away whatever the goal sexual preference is according to this particular theory or whatever. You know, changing your mind about what you're attracted to because what you're currently attracted to is undesirable or inadequate in the opinion of the therapist. Right. If this was gay transition therapy or something, this would be vilified as a concept and has been out the door. But because it's from the other angle, I guess, right, somehow it's now a moral imperative. Or, I'm not shaming you because of what you're attracted to. I'm just saying you need to critically rethink your preconceived notions about attractiveness.
Well, gays are born this way. Heterosexuals it's just social construct.
Right.
Suck my straight dick. How about that?
Anyway, we've had enough of that. Any other deep topics or stuff? Well, maybe not a deep topic, I suppose, but a story we didn't cover yesterday was that Joss Whedon has dropped out of doing the Batgirl movie.
Yes, because he says he didn't have a story.
Yeah, which doesn't make... Yeah, for everything else I might say about Joss Whedon, he is not at a loss for stories when it comes to comic book characters. So that sounds like a cop-out bullshit, maybe political, diplomatic claim to not upset the executives who just fired his ass.
I think there's two possibilities here. One, a Batgirl movie is not going to be the same empowerment as a Wonder Woman movie.
Okay.
Because Batgirl is, I mean, let's be honest, she's Batman with tits.
Well,
you can't have Batgirl without Batman.
She's a glorified fangirl, at least as far as the comics, because exactly. There would be no Batgirl without a Batman to have inspired her, basically.
Yeah, where Wonder Woman is her own person. So I can kind of see, at least because Whedon, for whatever you think about him, he's an excellent storyteller, but he's also, let's be honest, he's a feminist. And if he couldn't come up with a story that he thought could compete with Wonder Woman that way, I could see that being right. However, I think it has more to do with all of the people he's been putting his dick in.
Well, there's that and the optics of that. There's also, there's this notion now that should a movie about a female superhero be directed by anyone other than a female, a la Wonder Woman?
And I'm sorry, this idea that the director and the writer and all of this have to be the same color or same color or sex or whatever is fucking stupid. And I can't wait for that trend to end because it's going to last for a little while and then it'll go away. Well,
I saw today that in the absence of Whedon, apparently either writing and or directing the movie, a relatively well-known feminist, Roxanne Gay, tweeted out, "Hey, if you need somebody to write your Batman or Batgirl movie, I could do it easy." And then somebody from like Warner said, "If you're serious, drop me a line or send me a note." I'm like,
oh, for fuck's sake.
And I'm like, okay, because apparently I don't follow Marvel comic books now as much as I did when I was like a teenager. Apparently she had just written a source book or something called The World of Wakanda to cover, Black Panther's universe.
This is going to sound like a joke, but in all seriousness, SDA, if you've ever been interested in writing for the screen, drop Warner a line right now.
Thank you, Jordan 250.
Dude, I would, honestly, sorry, I'll say that after.
All right, thank you, Jordan 250. I sent an ad request via Twitter. Yeah, you did. Ranting Monkey versus the World. Okay.
Story of my life, motherfucker.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I honestly don't know if I could really do that because I don't know anything about writing for movies. I really only know about writing in like not for novel form type stuff.
Trust me,
People look on there.
Most of Hollywood writers don't know how to write for movies.
No shit. But yeah, anybody out there who wants to write for movies and you're a woman, are hitting up studios, man.
Just as a heads up to people, I might have to split the ads up over 2 nights because I have a lot, and I don't know if I'll be able to. Well, I'll do my best. I probably will exceed my own expectations, but you guys have been very generous tonight, and as a consequence, I got a lot of work ahead of me. So I will do my best to have them ready by tomorrow, but just for the sake of sanity and time during the stream, I might have to split them up regardless. So if you don't, sorry. Yeah, if you don't hear your ad tomorrow night, check back in on Monday.
ST, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You were giving Jordan shit yesterday. Was it yesterday for the bippity boppity boop thing? Because you said it was a bad picture of you?
No, it wasn't that one. It was the other one. It was the first one.
I didn't see a different one. Okay, because I was going to say, I like that picture of you. What the
hell? No, that picture's fine. I approve of that picture. There was another one where I just look like a fucking... It's a horrible picture.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, you look very pretty in that picture. What the hell's wrong with you? All
no,
right,
that
we're
one
good.
is fine.
Thank you, Point Curation. Hey, Scribe, take as long as you need on mine. Point, you asked for couches. Yours will be relatively...
Yeah, you're not the problem, Point, I promise.
That's the problem. That's not the problem. Anyway. Thank you guys. I appreciate the understanding. But like I say, I may have them all done by tomorrow. I might not read them all tomorrow. That's the other thing. So,
there was another thing that happened today.
Okay.
We had hashtag boycott the NRA.
Oh, right. Yes.
And there was a great moment in the hashtag boycott NRA thing where somebody wrote a tweet to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. One girl, one tweet. And because of that, Enterprise stopped working with the NRA as of a month from now. They're severing their tie over one goddamn person tweeting at them. Am I the only one who thinks that's fucking retarded?
Just a bit.
I mean, one, let's be honest. If you're going for money, you want to court conservatives because liberals are broke as fuck. But moreover, the NRA, I don't even know how many members they have now, but I can't imagine that pissing off that big of a market is worth it over one goddamn tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they had a specific objection to the NRA, which they obviously don't,
mm-hmm.
I could see that. But doing it over a tweet, it's blowing my fucking mind.
Well, here's my theory. If they look at like how much actual business they'd be losing with how many times people have actually taken advantage of the NRA discount, maybe it's just better PR to drop it. You know, maybe they're not losing anything in stopping their NRA discount by that. Thank you, James Colley. I can hold out till Monday. Guys, I'm not trying to. Like I say, I don't want to take up a half an hour of Monkey's stream tomorrow unless Monkey says it's okay to do ads. So that's why I'm kind of thinking I'll split them up regardless. But anyway.
Dude, I love when you do ads on my stream. It's like guaranteed no dead air.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like I'm outstaying my welcome, so to speak, in my voice. But yeah, I'd be really curious to know how Enterprise actually, because the whole thing was they gave a discount to NRA members. If that discount and the amount of business it actually attracted was less than the amount of PR they'd get by saying they won't do it anymore, I'd say it was probably a win.
Real quick, RJ says he has news. If I'd like to hear it, what is it?
Thank you. Nope. I am a boycott Enterprise.
I'm a. Like I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm a boycott. Yeah, well, that's what Ben Shapiro said. He said, well, I wasn't planning on ever using Enterprise, but I certainly won't now. Like, well, okay. RJ said there was news. I got some news for you. Oh, okay. Well, I wait with bated breath, RJ. What's the news? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
While we're waiting for that, the other thing I wanted to bring up, and I brought this up on Twitter, and I'd really like to hear you guys' reaction to that, because it's very similar to the training thing for guns. There's a thing going around right now where they're saying that they want to raise the gun age in Florida to 21 in order to buy guns.
Mm-hmm.
And what my brain hears when somebody says something like that is, we don't want anybody killing kids unless they're at least 21.
Thank you, Hawkitus Maximus. I almost want to buy a gun out of spite now.
That's kind of like when somebody, you're sick or whatever, and you go like get medicine, and it's like you have to be 18 to buy like fucking Sudafed, because like it can be used for meth, and it's like, oh yeah, we all know that only legal meth heads are allowed or whatever. It's stupid.
Well, with the gun control debate, there's so many things where we hear common sense gun control, common sense. And if you're looking at it strictly from a, well, this makes sense kind of thing, it can seem very sensical. But the idea that you have to be 21 to buy a gun in this regard, when you're talking about, hey, somebody shot up a school, what you're saying then is, we just don't want anyone under 21 shooting up a school. That, or you think at the age of 21, suddenly people will stop wanting to shoot up schools.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in a lot of the cases that we see where there's a school shooting or something else, the kids stole the gun from an older person to begin with.
Yeah.
So, changing the law to only 21-year-olds, well, that just means that, 21-year-olds will have guns that a 13-year-old can steal. Okay.
Well, anytime we start talking about changing limits to our constitutional rights, I'm not a huge gun person. I don't own a gun. I like shooting them, but it's not like something deeply held for me. But when you start talking about, we need to change the laws, you need to give me a good reason for changing the law. And it's similar to people who want to limit hate speech because it causes people harm. That's not a good enough reason. You need to give me something that is concrete. If you're going to say, you can't buy a gun unless you're 21, and it's because of this shooting, then those two things need to correlate. Well, if you go back to Sandy Hook, all of the suggestions that came out afterwards, which every time we have one of these things, it's always gun shows. We got to close the gun show loophole. None of the guns in these major shootings have ever been bought at one of those fucking things. They are all bought either legally or stolen. So it's common sense. No, it's not fucking common sense, because this has nothing to do with what you're fucking talking about.
Thank you, Hawkitus Maximus. Styx made a great point when he said that most of the shooters are on antipsychotics, but it's apparently tin hat wearing to mention this. I feel there's a correlation between the two. Well, what I was going to say is that, in order to have a solution, you first have to identify the problem. So what is the problem? Each case is different. You got the contrast you got here is an Adam Lanza versus a Nicholas Cruz. So Adam Lanza, there were signs, sure, that maybe he was a disturbed kid, etc., but there was nothing like what Nicholas Cruz was going through or did in public to notify people that he was going to shoot up a school. Okay. And unlike Adam Lanza, there was plenty of warning that Nicholas Cruz was going to do something that apparently the FBI and the police and everybody else just ignored. All right. So in this particular case, what was the problem? Well, the problem first off seems to be the inability or unwillingness of the FBI to either communicate with its various offices and or the local police department to take seriously someone they've had to visit 39 times and has a gun collection. And not to share this information or to take it more seriously. That seems to be the problem here, because had those things been acted on when they were, present and available, this probably would not have happened. Yeah. So to say that in this, using this example, using this particular incident as what is something we can do to prevent something like this from happening again, unfortunately, you're going to have to start with law enforcement. That's really where the problem starts. This guy did not buy the guns illegally. Now, if you want to change the law to say that you can't have it till 21, sure, that would have prevented him from buying the guns himself. That would not prevent it. That would not have prevented him from getting his hands on a gun.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, the only thing that this particular incident teaches us so far is that the FBI isn't taking individual threats as seriously as they would be like terrorist threats. You would think that with the Homeland Security stuff, or all the money that we've dumped into the law enforcement agencies supposedly having a better interconnectedness and reporting system and everything else, this guy would have been one of those guys, given that we've got like 3 or 4 different times now where somebody called the FBI directly and said, this guy is a problem.
Yeah, well, they're more interested literally in Trump talking to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
We have a special prosecutor over that. This kid, fuck it, he's just going to shoot up a school. Yeah. I mean, what the fuck is going on in this country? And I don't mean to keep banging on this, but there's just so much of this that bothers me with the way it's happened. And yeah, and I don't want kids shot. That's not what I mean, though. I mean the debate afterwards, like hashtag boycott the NRA. The NRA is not an organization that is out there promoting school shooting. For everyone who talks, well, we what we need is more licensing. And if you actually go and listen to what the NRA says, they're not against a lot of the things that gun control advocates say. It's that they want very specific things done. And instead of everybody, working together to at least get those done, no, we're going to have a pissing match. And now we're going to boycott the NRA. Did you get to see any of the, oh, I know you did, because you liked Matt Christensen's video. You saw Matt Christensen's video on this, right?
Yes.
With that kid at the town hall trying to talk down to Rubio.
Yeah.
I'd have smacked the fuck out of that little kid.
Thank you, Cryptic. The problem is people aren't raised properly. Law enforcement fucking up and people being from Cowards County. Oh, I hadn't heard that one yet. Cowards County. Nice.
Well, that now I have Coward of the County stuck in my head. I agree with a lot of that. I even said on Twitter earlier today, I think a huge problem we have in this country right now is that we are raising children who have no idea how to handle adversity. None. Mm-hmm. I mean, to the point that they cried over the fucking election. They needed safe spaces over the election. How is it a surprise that people are shooting up schools when an election makes people break down?
Thank you, Hakatus Maximus. Scribe tossed an article I ranted about at you. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't see if RJ had responded back. I got on a rant there, as I'm prone to do.
Let's see. How banks could control gun sales if Washington won't. Again, gun sales in the specific instance we're talking about here is not the biggest problem. It's law enforcement's inability or unwillingness to take seriously information they're getting and or exchange information when they get it. If the FBI, who got the first YouTube comment thing, the YouTube comment thing, I can almost extend the FBI the benefit of the doubt that there wasn't enough actual information to tell them which Nicholas Cruz that was or where in the country it came from. Sure, but if you file a report with that name saying someone using the name Nicholas Cruz made a threat about school shooting, and then the FBI office down in Florida gets a tip about a Nicholas Cruz who might do a school shooting, and nowhere in your databases does anything cross wires, that tells me that something's not working well when you have a system that I would think by now could cross-reference keywords like that and names and give you a result of, gee, this is the second time we've heard that name in relation to a school shooting. Just saying.
Real quick, RJ, the story he wanted to bring up was Rajner out at Ford for inappropriate sexual behavior. We actually discussed that the other day.
Yeah, we covered that when Matt was here. Thank you, Cryptic. 4 cops who didn't do shit, that's a problem. Well, that's the other thing, too. Like I said, the biggest what the fucks I see with this story as more information comes out is less about the shooter, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but more about the behavior and efficacy of the law enforcement from the FBI on down to local at all points in this, up to and including the moment of the shootings. Anyway, guys, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I also saw something when I was arguing with somebody on Twitter. They're like, well, if he couldn't get guns, this wouldn't have happened. No, you know what he still could have done? He still could have pulled the fire alarm, and then he could have just drove his car through people. And that's not a unreasonable thing to assume could happen because we've already seen it.
Mm-hmm. We're at the bottom of the hour. So guys, it's now chat time. It's your time. You have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, whatever have you. Please put them in the chat. Put plenty of question marks after so we know it's something directed to us and not an internal comment to the chat. Someone in there, I forget who, I think it was Jacob Jet said, have we mentioned Poppy's GoFundMe for her eye surgery? I know Monkey meant to do it the other night, and I forgot to remind him. That was my bad.
Somebody remind me tomorrow, and I will make that. I will shill that all night long tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll make tomorrow night Poppy's night, for sure. I don't have the GoFundMe link at hand. If someone can post it into the chat, I will put it in the description for people to reference here on out, or those that might listen to this after the fact. I apologize for that. I remember somebody saying, or Monkey saying that he wanted to do that, and I think I was supposed to remind him, but I completely slipped my mind. Hakatus Maximus says 2 words: fertilizer bombs. Yeah, no, like I said, if someone is intent on hurting other people, regardless of the method, they will find a way. A locked door only keeps out an honest man. We've already seen this. I mean, you want to talk about like an environment that has a lack of guns, where people still find a way to hurt other people. Look at Britain. Look at the Paris attacks. Well, the Paris attacks were guns too, but anyway, you know what I mean. The truck of peace, the trucks of peace we in New York and otherwise. It just, if you can find a way. Bad people will find a way to hurt other people if they're willing to risk their lives to do so. That's just the way it is. Okay, Jack Cochran has sent me the GoFundMe. I will put that into the description for people's.
Mr. Baker asked me if I would rather fuck Trigglypuff or Riley Dennis. Trigglypuff. Trigglypuff has a vagina.
Presumably.
As far as we know, yeah. So I will take vagina over penis every day of the week. Hakadah says Japan has mass stabbings. One recently had 19 people dead. Yeah, I mean, if people want to kill, they're going to fucking kill.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't mean to be so down about this. It's just I'm watching the reaction to this. And of course, you know, this is a horrible situation. And I'm all for, you know, people trying to figure out how to stop these things from happening.
Sure.
But if your solution would not have stopped it from happening, then it's not a solution.
Yeah, and Matt Christensen, like, you know, very pragmatic. He says, you know, feeling sorry for the victims and the kids and the survivors of the incident is one thing. Crediting them with more gravitas as a result of their victimhood and whatever they're saying, no. They either you know, if they're either not informed on the situation, or they're just saying things that have no, you know, you can say you need to do something about guns. Okay, well, you know, lots of people have attempted to do something about guns for many, many years now. What new idea do you have, little boy? You know, if you don't know what already is in place or what isn't working, you can't just saying do something about it. It's like, do what? But, you know, like, and like I say, I'm not a big Marco Rubio fan, like Matt Christensen said, but, you know, I'll tell you what, he kept his cool the whole time when being talked down to by that little kid.
Oh, I'd have snatched that little bitch up by his... Oh, man.
Yeah, that attitude of like, I don't have to do this, but I'll do it anyway. Shake your hands. Like, oh, God. Thank you, Cryptic. China 2014, 29 dead, 130 wounded in knife stabbing. I remember that story. Didn't get a lot of play over here because, I don't know, I guess, you know, we have our own problems or something.
Here's something else you have to realize. And this is going to sound horrible. What, 17 kids died that day, right? In this one massive attack.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions of kids go through school and never get shot. This seems like this huge, massive deal we have to take care of. And it's really not a huge, massive deal. And I'm not trying to downplay that these kids died. Yes, it's horrible that they died. But we have a problem in this country, especially when there's a media sensation that goes on of we have to fix this. Well, sometimes there's no fix. And that's where we are with this situation. There's really no fix to stop some crazed motherfucker from going out and killing people. But the truth of the matter is, Most kids are safe. The vast majority of all of us are safe. And when we play up, this isn't like, you know, putting seatbelts in a car, where that you can show a drastic reduction in the number of fatalities over time, because, you know, people aren't going shooting through the fucking windshield. The only way that you are going to stop all school shootings is to turn schools into fucking prisons, and make sure you have armed guards outside. Everybody gets strip searched on the way in. There you go. Short of that, you are not going to stop every possible bad thing from happening.
Rich at Art, Scribe Light, did you get my tweet? Are you Rich at Art on Twitter? I don't see anything recently with me tagged in it. So, thank you.
Yeah, guys, hit that like button. We're only at 73. Come on, you know my fragile ego.
Hakatus Maximus says, personally, I feel we should have mandatory gun safety courses. Well, like I was saying earlier in the stream, if you have to have a driving test to get a driver's license, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that you should have to go through a firearm safety course prior to getting your firearms license. Do you make that a national law kind of thing, or like the same thing with? I've heard the same argument for like, well, gun owners should also have to have, you know, gun insurance and stuff like that. Like, well, I've heard a lot of semi-reasonable things. I don't know how many of those would actually get through the voting and all that fun stuff.
Here's the thing: there's different arguments here. I have no problem with people having to take a course to get licensed. None at all. But is that going to stop school shooters? No, it's just not. So we can have the argument, you know, should we have licenses? Sure, let's do that. But let's not conflate the two, because they just don't go together.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. Like, again, somebody wants to hurt somebody, they're going to find a way. Richard Art says, Scribe, did you guys know they're trying to turn female prisons into free government housing where they can leave at any time and their kids can visit them? I set a link on Twitter. I'm sure they're trying to do a lot of things. I don't know if they'll probably get through that. If it's on MSS News, send it to us tomorrow. Again, we might be able to get to it during MSS News time.
Academic Cub says, but you don't need a license to own a car, just to drive on a roadway. Why do you need one to merely own a firearm? I have no problem with firearm safety training. So if that was something that was mandatory for getting a gun, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Well, because firearms are designed to kill things. Cars are not designed to kill things. So yeah, there are different beasts, so to speak.
Backsense Scan says, what do you think about hiring veterans as armed school security? I mean, it's something they could do, but again, it's not going to guarantee that this stuff isn't going to happen, or even that they're going to be effective. I mean, you got to think about this. You have an armed security guard roaming the school, right? And you have somebody who wants to shoot up the school. What's the first thing he's going to do? Come up behind that motherfucker and put a bullet in his head. There you go. Because you're going to know who he is.
Subway will match Poppy donations up to $100 during the stream. Oh, well, okay, guys.
There we go, guys.
Poppy's fundraiser right now is at $1,000 even. So if anybody who hasn't already, whatever, if you got some spare money, if you can collectively put $100 in there, Subway will drop another 100 in there. That'd be great. And thank you, Subway, so much. Now my chat has decided to refresh itself from the beginning of the stream. What the fuck? Okay.
Academic Cub says, so if the law made it that the training costs $10,000, you would still be all right with the required training? No. It would have to be something doable. I mean, we're not talking about trying to make it prohibitive.
Thank you, James Colley. Ad idea: job posting pedo-proof armed guards at schools. Pedo-proof armed guard. I'm not sure I quite get what you're meaning there, but I'll put it on the list.
And you have one from Cryptic as well.
I know. 1 second.
Okay.
Thank you, Cryptic. 21 to buy a gun won't do shit, restricting those of us who join the military at 18 and trained to handle true assault weapons and machine guns, ? Get the fuck out. I think there would probably be an exception for those that are actually military veterans or in the military currently. That's what I would assume they have to do.
I've seen this. This is another point with the 21. There are so many things that if you're going to restrict guns to 21, I feel that you have to restrict so many other things. Voting would be one of them. Mm-hmm. And it's odd because there's actually a push right now to lower the voting age to at least 16. Which is, come on, guys. No. 16-year-olds should not be voting. They have no fucking clue what's actually going on in the world. And you can look at like that CNN town hall and you got that kid up there who seems like he has a handle on everything. No, that is a dumbass kid who is repeating shit that he's heard at best, because he has literally zero life experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, the granted, he's just gone through something horrible that's probably changed his life, but he's had no time to reflect on it. None. And he's had no real world experience being grown on his own, taking care of his own family. There was a fucking idiot on Twitter who said that her daughter crawled up into her lap and said, "Do we own any guns?" And I had to say, "Yes, we did." And she said, "Could we please not?" So we took the gun and we took it down to the police station and turned it in. And and my thought was like, okay, what happens if somebody breaks into your house and shoots your child and you could have stopped it? What are you going to tell that child then? Is it, she's a paraplegic for the rest of her life because it cut off her fucking spinal cord at the waist? Oh, well, we got rid of that gun. At least you were safe. Guns are not a fucking sentient being. Oh God.
Okay.
Fucking people.
All right. Okay. Hate Camel, not thank you, but comment from Hate Camel. James Woods had the best response to lowering the voting age to 16. 2 words: Tide Pods.
Yeah. Jim Healis did a great meme on that. It says, CNN, we should change the voting age to 16. These fuckers were eating Tide Pods 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, the amount of people who actually ate Tide Pods is incredibly low. So it's not like the Tide Pod consuming population is really representative of 16-year-olds at large. I mean, criticize stupid 16-year-olds all you want, but let's be fair about it. Why don't we?
Well, I personally, I don't think the voting age should. I think the voting age should be raised to 25.
Well, I disagree with that, but I don't.
Well, if I could finish my thought real quick.
Sorry, you paused. Fuck, dude, chill.
In my experience, people don't have their minds sort of fully formed or have a lot of life experience to make informed decisions about a lot of things. Unfortunately now, until 25. It was younger in the past because we expected more of people at younger ages. But as things have unfortunately evolved, I have a problem with I've had problems in the recent past with people under the age of 25 in their decision-making processes. So that's just me. I know it's not going to happen, but anyway.
I disagree with that. I don't think that that's fair at all. I mean, I understand that maybe you have had some personal experiences, but you don't get to decide when. I mean, we've decided that pretty much 18 is the adult age. And what?
Nothing.
Well,
I'm saying you don't get to decide on a, just because you've had a few bad experiences that nobody at the.
I know I don't get to decide. I was just stating my opinion. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, I know, and I'm disagreeing with you, and you're going off the fucking walls, dude. Chill.
Thank you, Subway. My opinion: you can vote when you pay taxes. Well, that's 18 or thereabouts.
Well, voting when you pay taxes would be anybody who's 16 years old and working in a fucking grocery store, dude.
Thank you, Hakatus Maximus. The brain isn't fully developed until around 23. That's kind of where my mind is at too. I mean, the alcohol limits are based on some biology as well. So let's see.
I do think that there's been a huge change in society. Because yes, we do know that the brain, it's around 23. It's the early 20s. It depends on the person. But 23 is a decent enough age to judge by. But we've also changed it. When my dad, when he turned 18, he was expected to leave the house and either go get a job or go into the military. And we don't expect that of kids anymore. We just had Obamacare, which put children up to 26 on their parents' medical insurance. We have taken a lot of the life experience kids used to have to go out and immediately get away from them. So when the voting age was
I don't
18,
think that's...
it's absolutely true.
No, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that, like, it's not because you expect necessarily less of kids. It's that, you know, the economy has changed so much, and what you need to become, you know, somebody who is completely independent of their parents has changed over the years, that, you know, it just doesn't work that way anymore. I don't know.
I think that when you're forced to get out on your own, it changes your perspective a lot. It's life experience is what it boils down to. And the longer we push that off for kids, I could see raising the voting age at least to 21, especially if you want to do it for guns.
Thank you. Oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Cryptic. LOL. I've shot a grenade launcher before. I can drink. Just don't do both of those things at the same time. And thank you, Mule 1066. Since words can cause harm these days, should they license the First Amendment? Ooh.
Well, words don't actually cause harm.
Unless it's Muad'Dib. Unless it's Muad'Dib, you're watching Doom.
Wait, Data Wasteland says, don't you mean Romney Care renting monkey? Well, sure, but on a nationwide scale, that was Obamacare. Okay, it's a bit harder to expect that of people these days. An inflated job market, increased cost of living, put a real damper on those things. I would absolutely disagree. I think the biggest problem there is that we push kids to college and they end up with debt they don't really need necessarily. But that's an argument for another day. Happy 18th birthday. The door is over there. Get out. Yeah, Jack, that's how it used to be.
Those were the days, yeah.
And it's not like those kids, you know, you went out and immediately had a great paying job. I mean, it was, yeah, anyway.
Well, I knew people who in my own time, lifetime, I should say, their parents basically kicked them out the door at like 16 and said, "You're on your own." And I met those people when they were maybe 23, 24. And I'll tell you what, it's not fun, but they were sure as hell 20 times more mature and responsible adults at 23 after being pushed out into the world at 16 than most of the 23-year-olds I know who haven't left home yet. So.
Yeah. It's when you have to go through things, I mean, where you have no alternative, you find a way to get things done. And it's the world. That's how it works. Kids who have never tasted ramen noodles. What? Ramen noodles should be served in school. That's what I said.
Weebo says, my dad left the house at 17. I was raising my siblings at 9.
Maturity is a product of adversity. I would agree with that.
There you go. Yep.
And it's weird because we have all of this adversity in our society now, like microaggressions. And it's like, yeah, talk to me when you are worried about how you're going to pay rent, motherfucker.
Well, I think the other thing that's really important to keep in mind, though, is that while a lot of the SJW stuff is loud, it is not at all the general feelings of kids who are right now 18. As a general rule, a lot of kids don't actually agree with it. Yeah, they're loud, and they go into a lot of community organizing, but to paint millennials or anybody else with like a broad brush of, oh, well, they think that microaggressions are going to kill them is just completely dishonest, and it completely ignores the fact that it's not popular amongst the actual populace.
Well, I mean, between what happened at Mizzou, Evergreen State, Oberlin College, so many other places, it's not a completely obscure notion. And, you know, just from
I'm not saying it's obscure. I'm just saying that it's not, you guys are sometimes treating it like it's the rule instead of a minority exception of crazy people who actually give a shit about their college.
Well,
I would argue it is the rule.
Yeah, because if, even if it's, I mean, you could argue that it's like isolated to a certain segment of the young youth population, let's say. But unfortunately, the business leaders, the educators, the people in charge of policy and everything else are setting things up so that the next crop of kids, if it's small now, it's going to be the rule in the near future with as many people.
When we poll kids that are right now are 16, that's just not true.
Yeah, those are kids that haven't been through the colleges that are actually teaching this.
Yes.
Well, I'm going through a college that's teaching it, and I'm around these people every day. And it's just not true that people are being completely brainwashed. Are some of them already liberal and believing it? Yeah, but because people have such an access to information, I mean, if your crazy teacher says something, you can fucking Google it, and a lot of kids do, and we actually talk to each other about these things. And I'm friends with a lot of people from a lot of other colleges, and it's just not the rule that everybody's a crazy SJW. It isn't, which is a good thing. I mean, are the people in power at the colleges crazy SJWs for the most part? Absolutely. But they're not necessarily penetrating the kids.
Well, they probably are in some level. Thank you. Nope. Moderate millennial.
Phrasing.
Moderate millennial equals moderate Muslims, no help. I don't know about that. Millennial isn't a belief system, but
SDA herself is proof. Not all millennials. So, and yes, we are speaking in very broad strokes here, but I mean, it's not just millennials. This shit is being preached at the highest levels of our fucking country. Literally, Obama repeated half of the shit we talk about. I get what you're saying, that this isn't everybody, and I'm not suggesting it is, but I do think it's a significant enough portion of the population to be able to speak about it generally.
Thank you, Hakatus Maximus. Gen Z is pretty much calling utter bullshit on the brainwashing. The millennials are screwed.
Weebo says, hey, what about me? Yes, you too, sweetie. Calm down. Tell grandma to call me.
Thank you, Point Curation. The world terrifies and overwhelms me. Yeah, no, I think it's sort of like with the Tea Party. It pulled the right so far right that what was right and or center or left anymore was different than it was before then. The more that these things might not become ingrained in everybody to the point of indoctrination, but they become, we hear this a lot, it becomes normalized and more common. And so once you start down that road, it becomes more accepted as maybe kind of fact rather than most of the times, bullshit or just fear mongering as it is. And that tends to have an effect. Not right now as much as maybe it'll be 20 years from now if it continues.
Yeah, I really want to believe the polls we've seen out of Gen Z, because it does show that they're leaning more conservative and rejecting this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also not at the college stage yet, which is where this stuff seems to be taking hold with people.
Thank you, Sarah Plyer. Next book club and movies you should have watched. Well, when Monkey gets a copy, it'll be Ice Pirates on the movies you watched. SDA, got a book club coming up?
No.
Okay.
None scheduled at the moment. But in just about, it's usually about 15 minutes after the stream ends. So at about 11:15 or what is that? 20 some odd minutes from now, I will be gaming with Satsu over on 2 cents plus. That is the number 2, the word cents, the word plus with no spaces.
Let's see. I'm checking the Poppy fundraiser. Hasn't moved yet since Subway made his offer of matching up to $100. So if anybody in the chat has a couple extra bucks left over, send them that direction. The link is in the description at the top. If you just have to refresh your page, it should be right there. And tomorrow night we will be making that priority number 1 for sure.
Yep.
Let's see.
So I love Poppy. I don't want her eye to pop out.
Yeah, let's not have that. Eyeballs are important for most people, unless you're one-eyed Willie.
If you're not familiar with Poppy, she hangs out in the chat a lot. She's also over on Minions of the Zoo, and on, I think it's Sundays she hosts. So make sure you're watching and go over there and give them shit in their chat.
Let's see. Scrappy says Ice Pirates is great. Well, in a sentimental sense, not in a cinematic sense, but
it is not a cinematic masterpiece, but it is a fun movie.
Oh my God. Let's see. Space Herpes says Midnight Exile. Exactly. Also the
Wishy's aunt have her surgery. How'd it go? Is she okay? How's she doing?
I haven't heard. I'll ask Satsu when I talk to him later.
Thank you, Snubbers. Sorry, SDA, but they have a whole floor at my engineering hall for diversity, 3 club rooms for Black, Hispanic, and women, and 2 computer labs filled with food and multiple no food in labs.
I'm not saying that they don't like implement diversity at the administration level, because they do. I can guarantee you that 90% of all college staffers are crazy SJWs. I promise you they are. However, that doesn't reflect the views of the students. And, you know, maybe it's because I'm living in the South. That could be it. But I would say that millennials are not, they are, you know, the SJW generation, but a lot of them aren't. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind about Gen Z is that they're so used to having a ton of information coming from a ton of different places, which means that they're going to be far more likely not to take what their college professor says as fact. They're probably going to Google it, or they'll have heard all these ideas before or somewhere else, or be able to easily access counterpoints, whereas maybe generations before would have just been like, all right, college course and done. So that's all I'm saying.
TOS says Monkey isn't right wing. He's center left at best. I'm actually center right by today's standards of what right and left are. Excuse me. What do you guys think of the movie Cherry 3000? I fucking love that movie. I used to watch it all the time.
Melanie Griffith. God, what was that? Was that like 99 or 2000 or something?
Oh, no, it's much older than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. No, you're right. The title, Cherry 2000. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, you're right. That's like 85. I got my brain mixed up. What was I thinking of that was 2000? Well, maybe it was the Heavy Metal remake. Maybe that's what I was thinking of for some reason. Anyway, never mind.
If you've never seen Cherry 2000, it's it's basically the tale of MGTOW. A guy's sex bot breaks down, so he has to find a new one, but they don't make that model anymore, and he wants that specific model. So he hires Melanie Griffith to help him go through the wasteland to find one. Great movie.
Let's see. We've got 4-minute warning, guys. Thank you, Point Curation. I've learned that my union is even more progressive than my company. I've realized this will work. I've realized this work will be much harder than I anticipated. Oh boy. Johnny Elkins says, have you guys seen Action Jackson? Long time ago.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Is that Carl Weathers?
Apollo Creed?
Yeah, Carl Weathers.
I don't even call him Carl Weathers. That's Apollo Creed, and he will be for life.
Yeah. Well, my first, actually, the first time I ever saw Carl Weathers in a movie was actually Predator. I saw Predator before I ever saw Rocky. So whenever I think of Carl Weathers, I think of the guy looking at us like, you ghost us again. I'll make you bleed. Quiet like. I love that. Let's see. Shiograth says, the less you love a woman, the faster your hand gets tired.
Nice. Let's see. Kitties or puppies? I like kitty cats.
I'm a cat man. I'm a cat man. Chibbidi-bidi-bidi-bidi-bop-bop.
Oh, okay. This is a good one from Jacob. Which is better, a cinematically shitty movie that's fun to watch, or a cinematically sound movie that's just kind of meh? For me, fun movie wins every time. Now, there are some movies that are just like beautiful, and they're nice to watch for that, but that doesn't last very long for me.
Yeah, I guess it really comes down to the entertainment factor. I mean, you can have a movie that is crafted well, that is just dry and boring. Like what was it that I was watching? Well, after a fashion, Black Panther. Okay, I came out of the movie not like I came out of The Dark Knight as a comic book superhero movie. It's probably the best comic book superhero movie. Just because of just how many layers and just how the performance was and everything else. It's dark, it's serious, it's got, the Joker and everything. I came out of that movie like, wow, Batman is really cool again. I came out of Black Panther like, that was a competent comic book movie. It didn't wow me in any particular thing, but it wasn't awful. It's like there's a competent, well-made movie, and you got a movie that's really well-made and also fun. I'll take fun over competent any day of the week, kind of.
If you want a really good example of this, go watch Star Trek, the motion picture, and then sit down and watch Star Trek 4. The motion picture has lots of gorgeous, beautiful space scenes, but that movie is boring as fuck.
Yes.
Where Star Trek 4 was mostly shot on the ground in San Francisco, but it is a really fun movie.
Yeah, it's funny. It's great. Jaeger Pony says I donated the Poppy Fund. Okay, let's see where we're at. We're at 1,025. So if somebody drops $75 in the next 60 seconds. Subway will match that. Harvos Marvos, any thoughts on Trudeau's recent behavior? I saw a video of him dancing around. I don't know the context for that, so I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, people were freaking out about that. Jacob says, follow-up question, favorite bad movie? My favorite bad movie would be Ernest Goes to Camp.
Favorite bad movie? God, I don't know. That's a tough one. There's a lot. I need more time to think about it than I've got.
Yes, Hawkidus. Star Trek 4 is the one with whales.
Yes, The Voyage Home. The Lion King is your favorite bad movie?
No, somebody asked her what her favorite movie
what my
is.
favorite movie was specifically.
Okay.
Two lines up.
Well, guys, we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to refresh the fundraiser one more time.
While he's doing that, don't forget to join us over on 2 Cents Plus. I'm going to put the name in the title or in the thing here.
Okay. And yeah, guys, so thanks so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for all the donations. I have got a lot of work ahead of me. So like I said, I will probably be splitting these up over a couple of nights. I'll do my best to get as many done for tomorrow, though. Let's see. Tomorrow night, we are on Monkey's channel per usual. Usual Lords of the Night time. And otherwise, everyone, your lives make us sad. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.